So you keep pointing us back, if we're experiencing a problem or what we call suffering, to find the sufferer. And if we do so and recognize ourselves as the self, does that imply that the problem will fall away? That there won't be anything such as suffering?
When you come back, you are pulled back out of the shape of the person, of personhood, because that's the only area where you experience these traumatic states, and because you become personal with them. And there's a strong identity functioning in that. There's a collaboration, there's a relationship with the patterns that we are living and experiencing. So where does it come? Actually, it comes originally from the self. The self as projected or portrayed itself in the form of a person. Like I say, it makes a self-portrait of itself as a person, and it generates the necessary energies to support, which is the belief in an identity that comes from the consciousness and then gets infused into the identity or into the notion of a person. Yes, so it is the person itself, which is its background, the background of the personal mode, I say. So it's not actually, the person is not really true, it's not the truth, it's imagined from the self. So I call it the imaginary self or the imagined self. And it's this sense of the person that is experiencing all these kind of crises and difficulties, and he's feeling in some way distracted by or caught up in its own projections, but it doesn't see it as just merely projections. It tends to feel that those projections, those tendencies, they're external to it, and this force is coming in on him. But actually they have their root in the identity. And the fact is that it's very difficult once we're in the state of turmoil and identity to sort of step away. The energy, it doesn't seem to be there to step away, but more to be involved and to keep churning somehow the mind into these states, which just produce the sense of suffering. You see, in the inquiry, you are invited to step back, or to look from the place, or to recognize that these states are effects arising or appearing inside the consciousness. In the beginning, there's resistance to looking, because we tend to feel pulled in, and we just want to somehow hammer at the thing from the thing that we are experiencing. But I say to take a look at that and to use that feeling of suffering and pain and anxiety, and it's very mental, very psychological, very emotional. Use them to see if you can locate the one who is suffering them. Now, it may seem initially that this is obvious, but it is not so obvious. It's just obviously a habit. It's obviously taken to be truth, and so we don't question it. That's how deep it has embedded itself in the consciousness, that it's taken to just be a fact. So a fact is something we tend not to question. But here, this is the power of the inquiry. It begins to say, can you actually identify the one who is suffering? And right here is where you're asked to really just stop for a moment. Don't try to stop all the noise of the mind and the emotions and the feelings. Let them go there, but use them now to see, okay, who is being attacked by them? And please take that question. Don't just, even the reaction to it, even that also is perceived, you see? But who actually is the victim of this scenario? Can you actually locate the sufferer? And for this you must be very, very quiet and really hear the question that you're asking, understand what you're asking, what you're being asked, you see? Can the sufferer be found? And just because the question now is being picked up and followed to see if there's truth in the question, if there is really the sufferer, to try and find the sufferer, the experience is that there is no sufferer. It cannot be found. It is not found. In all these years where this inquiry has happened, the sufferer as an entity cannot be found. And in that non-finding, somehow, all the force and the power of this torturous and suffering states, they start to collapse. Because there's no proof of anyone who is suffering them. And that actually transforms, it actually creates, or not create, but it reveals the deeper underlying state of peace, which is untouched, that really nothing is happening. It's all created here. It's the mind created, and then also the identity, believing in the mind storm, amplifies it. And all of this is watched. When it is watched from the place now, the new discovered place, of that underneath is just the stillness, where you've always been, your true place, where you've always been. Once something has been established there, you have acknowledged and seen, but this is really what's here. Then that apparition, that functioning of that distortion, that perception, that experience, that suffering, that darkness is blown away. And you experience that yourself. And it's a tremendous boost to an encouragement to your ability to diffuse these situations, and to not just diffuse them, you see, but to actually expose the falsity of them and the apparent one to whom they're happening. This is very important. This is a power of inquiry. So this, I would say, to listen over and over to it until you grasp, you see, you grasp the truth of it. Because there is some stubbornness in the mind. There's some stubbornness in this what I would say, this construction that arises in the self, the constructed self of the person, the imagined self. There's a lot of investment has gone into it to sustain and support its apparent existence. But when looked at in the scrutiny and the light of introspection and self-inquiry, it cannot hold up and it collapses. Can you experience or imagine what it is if this force begins to collapse, if the identity that is sustaining and generating these conditions and this environment is nullified? What is the result of this? It is really, I mean, you cannot imagine the tremendous freedom, you see, because not only have you, it's not like a headache, you take a tablet now because you got a headache only and it goes, but it keeps coming back. The migraine is coming back over and over. Now, this, when you keep looking at it, this type of scenario gets destroyed in you. You know, maybe gradually, each time it comes back, you know, and looked at it, it loses power because there's no one there to hold it. It's destroying the root, which is the sense of personhood, as functioning as a factual identity, as a factual self. And that is exposed as unreal. And it's the exposure of the egoic identity as unreal that frees you into the real, to see from the true place. Please contemplate that and continue to do it, in fact, until this tendency is cleared, until you're cured of the habit to, and the reflex to identify with the person, to keep functioning from personhood, because it's the weakest link, you could say. If consciousness was a chain, the person would be the weakest link. Eradicate this link, you see. Very good.